cameras that I'm working on, and I took one picture of the sign there, and then I wanted to get it on videotape and the surrounding area here. And I was trying to talk on it. And at the same time, you're yelling, "What are you doing? Come on, let's go up here." And I
didn't. I thought you were filming the sign, dear.
Well, I was to begin with, yeah. Okay. And then I had a frame of reference to go, and this is over the visitor center, this is this, and... I mean, I don't know how much I'm supposed to do without... I know you're driving, that's good, but... Restored April 6, 1830, wasn't that when the church was restored? What's that sign say over there?
See the RLDS there.
Restoration Trail Foundation.
This is
I want to see what this says about this. What's this place called? The Church Lot?
Church of Christ. Temple site.
Church of Christ is located on 2.5 acres of the original temple lot on the southwest corner of Lexington and Walnut. The address is earlier well-known white frame building burned down by an arsonist has been replaced by a new structure. 6 branches of the church in Illinois following the death of Joseph Smith in 1844 began instructing his followers that the time to begin a return to Zion was near at hand. So in 1867, under his direction, they began to gather to Missouri and purchase the temple lot, where tradition indicated that it was dedicated by church leaders in 1831. I can't read and film and everything.
Well, you've done this. You've filmed it.
Yeah, and I didn't know what it was. The church was Church of Christ, and who cares what the Church of Christ looks like in Independence, Missouri? The Confederate line? I didn't know that was there.
Want to get a picture of that?
I don't even know what it is.
It says on the 22nd something's Division of Price's Confederate Army.
Swing around there. Defending against the advance of Wilkington's to the river to the east of the Union attack was made no. Near the spot 2 of his guns were captured. No.
You don't want that? Yes or no?
No. I don't know. If you do, say so.
No.
That's what it is. What's that stone church thing there?
That's just a church. A stone
Well, it
church.
has a sign
The
out in front
Organized
of-
Church of Jesus
Oh.
Christ.
Where Kansas now intersects, intersects Pleasant Street. That's where a guy lived that was monumental in the beginning of the RLDS church. Downtown Independence, Missouri.
Not downtown Independence.
I'm videotaping right now, so.
We're turning on Highway 24, headed out to Richmond from the Visitor Center. Gail will probably get a shot if she can out the window here on the left. This is the Truman Library. President Harry S. Truman was born, died in this town, Independence. This is his library, and this was where President Clinton was just at. And as he was promoting his tour down here,
His tour?
not his tour, but his passage of his health care bill. And it's one of the problems we ran into travel-wise, was why he was here in Independence. There must have been a zillion cops and Secret Service people all over everywhere. they had all the streets blocked off, and we ran right smack dab in the middle of it. So
Oh, we saw President Clinton and his
as
entourage.
he sped by in the
Oh, now,
presidential
Brett.
limo.
You mean he didn't wave to you?
No, he didn't wave to me.
Give you the Union High sign or anything?
And if I'd have got stopped by one more police officer, I would have changed my vote against Clinton.
Oh boy, that was close. Just about had him, folks.
Although I never really voted for him to begin with.
Say that now.
You've heard me.
What?
I never really voted for him to begin with.
Would you vote for him now?
No.
Oh, good. Okay. There's hope.
Me nothing but sheep
I'm
over.
taping right now.
Now you're going to see nothing but trees.
Well, trees are pretty.
Air Prairie Creek.
Where are we now?
This is Levacy, Missouri. Look at the people fishing out there on the right in Levacy Lake. Beautiful downtown Levacy, Missouri. Catfish fishing at its finest. Still on our way
And lots of corn growing.
to Richmond. Look how thick the forests are.
Lots of corn. Oh, I just figured out how to do this.
Over here at the soybean plant.
You did? Where this thing focuses good. Moves right along. Start taping.
We're coming to this thing here.
About 85 minutes now left on this tape.
It's Colorado versus
Bugging him right
Bucket
now.
Pit. Here, Sunday tour by himself, Saturday tour.
Nice dirty job. Ugh.
Well, this may be Wellington where we turn. There's a water tower there on the left and some buildings.
These people here are big on water towers, and they put their names on the thing. That's what I
You find that throughout the Midwest.
wonder why. What the deal is with that.
It's the old world, I guess. Boy Scout Troop 317.
That's pretty, huh?
See the
That
white
pond
chip
down
over
there. Lake or something. Red Barn.
Lot of space here.
I know, and who's to say that there's another pond out there. There's so much overcrowding in the world. Don't have any kids because there's no place to put them.
Well, we raise all the food here that feeds a lot of people throughout the world. What's this thing?
Tell you, we sure 131. That's what you want.
What do you want?
This is
Alright.
the corn capital of the world or something.
bridge and go over the bridge. Right?
Yeah, on 13.
Speed check 5 radar.
30 miles per hour.
I'll
Speed
bet you
limit.
they do nail it.
25, except we're posted. Yeah, 'cause they need money in here, I bet.
We just want to cruise
Cruise.
right down the 30.
Now I should take. Look at this is the cutest little town. Say what we're. Say where we're at. Wait.
4.
Wellington, Missouri. I think I wasn't taking before. On our way to Richmond, Missouri. Did you make the right turn?
Yes, dear. I need
Something
you,
might be around this corner.
I
Wait,
need you to navigate
I'm going
and not
to.
take pictures right now so that I know where I'm.
One lane bridge. Maybe this is the bridge
I don't know.
that he said got washed out. The man back at the. Oh, this is the bridge. I bet. Tell about this bridge, Brent.
I don't know about this bridge.
But maybe this is the bridge.
This may be the bridge that got washed out last year in the bad
Sanders.
rains.
Something. Go real slow.
Yes,
Thank you.
dear.
Oh, how pretty.
Going real slow. Over the river and through the woods.
That was kind of fun, huh? You want to turn around and do it again? What's the matter? No, don't give me the cut sign.
Screwball squirrel, turn that off. Come on, you got to help me look for things, and you can't do it when you're looking in the camera. Look, there's a building coming up there.
We hope we're on the road to Richmond.
My co-pilot is more interested in filming the trees.
Well, wherever we are, this is really pretty.
And getting us to Richmond. This is Pickerwood Club.
Pickerwood Club.
Middyville. Do you see Middyville on the map?
Oh, look, this is
Well, you can only photograph so much of these trees and it looks the same.
So I'll edit some out. There might be something good around the corner, and I'll miss it.
Okay.
Is there a stream over there by the side of the road? So I know whether we're...
Railroad tracks.
There's not a
Side.
stream, so we're not going alongside the river like we thought we were.
I don't know what we're doing. I got to find somebody to talk to here because you're not doing me a job.
She's got her underwear hung on the line.
Keep out unless you have written permission. Comes an ambulance. That picture.
Yeah, I am.
That's pretty.
Okay, now what's this?
I don't know if that's the Missouri, what river that is. But the bridge that you see up there on the pillars, I believe, is the one we take to go over to Richmond. Because we have to cross over the river to the other side and up. I'd be worried for a while because the growth is so thick here that you can't see the other side, but there's quite a river there. Can you tell by the map what river that is? That flows along the tracks there, does it say?
The site of riverboat Saluda's explosion, killing over 200 English Mormons.
Are you still filming?
Yeah.
Grain silo there. We're evidently barges that come
Can I-
up Lexington.
What did I tell you? We'd be right by Lexington, right?
We've come too far.
Oh
then.
no, we're not by
We came
Lexington.
too far.
No.
We should have turned.
No, we're
Yes,
fine.
because remember he said it was an old bridge and it would look kind of scary.
I
We
know.
must have missed it.
No, I think we're okay. Have faith.
See, we're all the way to Lexington. Now we've got to backtrack up into. We missed it.
Go look at that bridge.
Too
How pretty.
busy filming.
Oh, I knew it'd be my fault. Let's see what this sign says up here.
It says Richmond, 7 miles. But we could have been in Richmond
No,
sooner
no,
had
no,
we
no.
gone
This
over
is
the
the
older
way.
bridge.
No.
Gail,
Did we
remember-
miss the old bridge? Is that what you're saying? The old
Yes.
scary bridge?
Yes. Remember he said that a boat
No, this
hit
is
a
it.
boat hit it the other night?
Dear, it has to be this one because a boat can't go in those little...
Is the camera still on?
Yes, it is, so you can't say anything too mean.
Turn the camera off.
No.
We have to have an attitude
No.
adjustment here.
Yeah, yours.
Look at the
I
take the
know.
picture of the old
Well,
bridge.
all I can see is your face when I film out that window.
Memorial to War Veterans, Lafayette County. Missouri River, Ray County.
Too bad I missed that time.
About filming and blowing
Well,
it.
I can really film that fast.
This area was popular to the Saints for a number of reasons, primarily because the ground is so fertile here, and you can see by the pictures that Gail's taking as we cross over this old bridge.
And doing a very fine job of doing,
Here
I
we
might
are,
say.
right over the Missouri River. And
Brent's profile in the...
what a beautiful nose.
Let's put this on portrait.
Yes. Preserve it for posterity's sake.
What was that?
That was a bump in the road. But this is very fertile ground, and that was one of the things that attracted the Mormons to this area to settle in Missouri, was because of the fertileness, and the land was relatively cheap out away from Independence. And that's what led to part of the problems that the Saints had here from the persecutions of the old Missourians that were here, because they moved here in such large numbers that the old Missourians were afraid that they would take over, and because there were such large numbers in the counties, they were winning and taking over the elections as far as the results, because they voted in such large numbers that they were able to vote many people into positions that the Missourians didn't like, and they were afraid of what that would do in the future if more Mormons came, and that's why they persecuted the Saints. It wasn't so much for their religious beliefs as much as it was the fear that they were afraid that they would literally take over in the area and then vote people into office that would pass laws that would be contrary to their desires. And so consequently they were able to get Governor Boggs to issue the order to either kill them or drive them out of Missouri. And that's when they fled and went up to Illinois, Nauvoo. You better check Higginsville.
Did it.
Well, why don't you wait till we get to the top of the hill, maybe you can get a better view
Oh,
of where we're going.
keep going.
You're still filming?
Yeah, because it disrupts it to keep turning it off and on. I don't like to do that.
We're 3 miles outside of Richmond, Virginia. Or not Richmond, Virginia. See, Gary Bloom got me to say that because he said that's where we were headed. We
Yeah,
weren't
yeah.
that far, but this is Richmond, Missouri. The Richmond area was originally settled by Southerners in 1814 to 1815. It is situated on lands ceded by the Sac and Fox Indian tribes. Richmond was actually founded itself in 1827
Be alert.
and is now the county seat of Ray County. This region is extremely fertile, as you can see by the pictures that Gail's taking. The county,
We're going off the road.
The county was welcome to Richmond. The county was organized in 1820 and is one of the original counties of Missouri.
You have to allow it to focus.
Take the book, because you need to tell me now why I drive where we're going. We are Richmond, and we're at the Richmond Pioneer Cemetery. Pioneer Cemetery is the location of the burial site of Oliver Cowdery, one of the three witnesses of the Book of Mormon. A monument to the Book of Mormon, the three witnesses and Joseph Smith, is located in this cemetery, and that's what Gail is filming here. As you can see, to the sacred memory of Oliver Cowdery, witness, and the testimony of the three witnesses is on the side, and that would be David Whitmer,
Walk around here.
Jacob Whitmer.
The second.
Do you have it on?
No. What is
Jacob Whitmer, one of the 8 witnesses, is also buried here in this cemetery. One of the inscriptions on this monument states, "The Book of Mormon, an account written by the hand of Mormon upon the plates taken from the plates of Nephi, translated and published by Joseph Smith Jr., Palmyra, 1830. Following Oliver Cowdery's return to the LDS Church in 1848, after a 10-year absence." You're not filming this?
Yeah, I am. But I just, how long can I stay on this? I want to get...
Following Oliver Cowdery's return to the LDS Church in 1848 after a 10-year absence, he returned to Richmond, Missouri. Here he died on the 3rd of March, 1850, among friends including David Whitmer, John Whitmer, Hiram Page, Phineas Young, and Jacob Whitmer. Phineas Young reported, "His last moments were spent bearing testimony of the truth of the gospel revealed through Joseph Smith and the power of the holy priesthood, which he had received through his administration." He kissed his family goodbye and concluded, "Now I lay me down for the last time. I'm going to my Savior." He died immediately with a smile on his face. Richmond Pioneer Cemetery.
You have to read the whole thing. They can read it. Okay.
You get the dates. In this section of the cemetery are the graves of Peter Whitmer, in whose home in Fayette, Seneca County, New York, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was organized April 6, 1830. His wife, Mary Muslim Whitmer, his son Jacob Whitmer, one of the 8 witnesses of the Book of Mormon, 2 daughters of Jacob Whitmer, and other relatives. They were all residents of Richmond. This is the gravesite of Jacob Whitmer, who was one of the original 8 witnesses to the Book of Mormon. Died April 21st, 1856. That must be David Tanner. Gravesite of one of the 3 witnesses, and
Isn't that something to
the
think about?
location of Oliver Cowdery, who was visited by Moroni, the angel Moroni, who was visited by Peter, James, and John, Elijah and Elijah.
Okay.
Gail is now taking a picture of the Alexander Donovan Monument, which is located in front of the Richmond County Courthouse in the town square of Richmond, Missouri. Alexander Donovan was born on the 8th of July, 1808 in Mason County, Kentucky. He married Elizabeth Jane Thornton on the 21st of December, 1837. Doniphan moved to Lexington, Missouri in 1830 and removed to Liberty in 1833. He established a law practice in Clay County and served 2 consecutive terms in the state legislature between 1836 and 44. He was commissioned a brigadier general in the state militia in 1838. Doniphan represented the Mormons in 1833 and was outspoken against anti-Mormon activity in Missouri. In November of 1838, he refused to carry out an order of General Lucas of the state militia to execute Joseph Smith while at Far West, Missouri. And this was when the prophet Joseph Smith, as well as some other church leaders, had been taken prisoner, and they wanted to kill him as well as the other leaders of the church at that time. And Doniphan refused to carry out that order, which eventually led to the escape of the prophet and those that were with him in the Liberty jail.
Okay, here we are, and it's Sunday.
This is Sunday, July 31st, 1994, and we have just spent the night in Chillicothe, Missouri, and we are now headed out early in the morning to Haun's Mill, the site of the massacre of how many? 18 people, and the wounding of 23 or 24 others. Time out, I gotta see if this is a road that we need to turn off on.
No, I think we marked you.
Well, I hope so, because...
No, because it'll go that way. You will go that way, Brent.
You mean it goes through?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, Haun's Mill was the site where a number of members of the church had moved and settled in anticipation of the growth and development of the church here in Missouri. And we'll read to you once we get there what they had to say with regards to the location of Haun's Mill.
Focusing going like this. Well, I have to turn it on now.
We're now going to go down this dirt road. Hopefully this is the right one. How far are we going?
I don't know.
Well, how does that map give any indication?
No, Brent, it doesn't. Hold on, just stop here. Something's burning too.
Yes, they got a fire going over there. Getting ready to barbecue on Sunday.
Alright, I better show that flag over there. Wait. Well.
I'm sorry. I know you wanted to. Got a car pushing me here. You can see the wooded area here as she pans out over the fields.
On what they thought when they got here.
Let me read what's here. As we head down this road, and Gail's photographing out the window, this is a historical account from an Abner Blackburn and his impression of the land in the area of Hans Mill.
As they arrived.
As they arrived from where they came from, and we're not sure where that was. Look at the pheasant here. See it? Right in the road. Get him.
Yes, I saw them.
See him?
He's looking right at you. Or he's looking the other way. I couldn't see very well.
Pretty.
Field of Dreams.
Anyway, Abner Blackburn's account states, the area around Hans Mill rings with bright hope and optimism for the future. We started out on our long journey to Missouri. Soon there were more prairies and fewer people, but the game was more plentiful. Deer, bear, turkey, wild hogs and bees, and snakes galore, and no white man in sight for a whole day or more. This is truly prairie country with timber on the streams of water. This is the backwoods without a drought. We came to a beautiful place. The land was rich and the wild game in abundance. Wild strawberries and other kinds of wild fruit. Fish in the streams and bees in the forest, with all kinds of nuts in the woods. This was truly a paradise on earth. We had a beautiful place for a home. That was Abner Blackburn's feelings about when they arrived in the Hans Mill area. Was ringing full of hope. Little did they know that shortly thereafter, on the 30th of October, 3 days after the battle at Crooked River, where 2 Mormons and 1 Missourian were killed, exaggerated reports of the skirmish spread across the state of Missouri. And 3 days later, a renegade Missouri militia unit arrived at Hans Mill at Shoal Creek, known as the Hans Mill Massacre. What turned out to be the most savage action of the Mormon War occurred when Colonel Thomas Jennings' men killed 18 people and wounded another 15. During the afternoon of October 30th, approximately 240 men approached Hans Mill. Joseph Young Sr. described the incident.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Described the incident.
Okay, now we need to go down.
He said, the banks of Shoal Creek on either side teemed with children, sporting and playing, while their mothers were engaged in domestic employments, and their fathers employed in guarding the mills and other property, while others engaged in gathering in their crops for the winter consumption. The weather was very pleasant. The sun shone clear, all was tranquil. No one expressed any apprehension of the awful crisis that was near us, even at our very doors. The militia approached the area around 4 p.m. in the afternoon, which caused the women and children to flee for safety. Many of the men sought protection in the blacksmith shop near the mill. During a hail of bullets, Amanda Smith seized her 2 little girls. Yet, though we were women with tender children in flight for our lives, the demons poured volley after volley to kill us. 10-year-old Sardius Smith, Amanda's son, was found hiding under the bellows and was quickly killed when a muzzle was placed against his head and fired. Quote, "Nits will make lice," the soldier said later, and if he had lived, he would have become a Mormon. Another Smith child, 7-year-old Alma, saw his father and brother murdered and was himself shot. Those who survived hid themselves during the night in the woods nearby, fearing another brutal attack by Missouri militia units roaming in the vicinity.
And tell what significance this is all to you.
This is of special significance to us and to me because I had a second great uncle,
George Spencer Richards.
George Spencer Richards,
Who was one of the...
who was killed
17.
here at Hans Mill.
In 1838.
In 1838, October 30th. George was the son
Of Wealthy Dewey
of Wealthy Dewey and Phineas
Richards.
who was my
Great-grandparents.
great-grandparent, second great-grandfather. Not that far back. We're on our way.
And
You can see by the ruts in the road,
feel.
and you can feel as we drive down this road, you can imagine what it was like to pull a wagon down here. You can see some of the ruts in the road. When it rains, this road is not passable, and they clearly tell you so on the map.
You can see why.
But you can see how thick it is in here.
I'm sure they thought this was a safe haven for him, too.
You can
Come
see
here
how
and-
thick it is with trees, and yet very fertile ground. You can see the beans growing here, the crops of soybeans.
They set up a blacksmith shop
And we're very
and
close
a mill, grist mill.
to the actual Hans Mill site, and I think it's right about in here.
This is probably Shoal Creek. Ooh.
This is probably Shoal Creek that we're driving over. There's not much in it right now, if indeed that's Shoal Creek.
Well, we'll see.
It may be farther on down the road here.
I think Shoal Creek's a little bigger than that. Well, they're really working this land, aren't they, with crops?
The site is owned by the reorganized LDS Church,
So at this time, all there is really just a plaque,
and supposedly it is marked with a plaque,
hopefully.
so that we'll know the exact site, unless somebody has removed it in the meantime. But it's a beautiful area. You can see the corn here growing on the stalks to our right, with beans here on the left. And that seems to be the two major cash crops back here right now. Here it is. There's a sign. It would appear up here.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
You can gain a sense. There's an eerie feeling right now driving up on this location.
For what the people must have felt
Hard to describe.
that afternoon in October. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, children were playing,
Here along the banks of Shoal Creek.
getting ready for the winter. For reflection.
Oh, you're gonna get out, dear. As you can see by the sign, this is the site of the Hans Mill Massacre, October 30th, 1838. And this sign was placed here by the Reorganized Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Let's get out.
We're gonna stop the car here because it looks like it might be a little bit muddy and boggy ahead, and walk down here to see what it looks like.
I was filming.
Stand over there so I can get your picture in this.
All right, I will just a minute.
I don't know if you can pick up on the sounds, or if the camera will pick it up. You can hear the wind whistling through the trees here, the elms. And the birds occasionally in the background chirping. The crickets cricketing. And it's really an eerie feeling. You almost anticipate hearing and watching children playing along the stream, knowing that close by lurks a very evil group of people.
And how they had to hide, the rest of them.
And you can almost imagine them sneaking through the woods here.
Just a second, Brent, wait just a minute, please. Okay. I can't watch where I walk very well with it.
We're now walking down the path that leads towards Shoal Creek. And
Just the end of almost the end of the path.
almost the end of the path.
This is the banks of the Shoal Creek where they set up Hans Mill.
Here they had a grist mill. Please watch where you're walking, dear.
Will there be snakes here?
Yes, there could be.
That's far enough for me.
Besides, I don't want you too close to the edge. But they had a grist mill here and a blacksmith shop.
How come? Because this is all like just hills right here. How could they have anything? There's not
May have
anything
been
flat.
on that bank over there, and it may have been down in here. You don't know exactly where. Let me walk over this way and see what's in.
I can get through there. Famous last words, huh?
Be very careful, okay? You'll have to get in the bushes there a little bit. Something down here in the creek. See the bubbles coming up from it?
Why?
Well, there's fish or something down there. Turtles, fish, whatever.
Why is there a path here? It must.
Here, I don't know. That's why I was going this way.
So help me if we see a snake. This reminds me of going camping with Jeff. How we always stayed way behind you guys. I left my purse in the car. It has $600 in it.
We better go back then, because I don't want... There's nothing down here that I can see. This goes down to the stream's edge here.
Yeah. I think it's just more of the same, huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, this is it.
Hans Mill. There is an eerie feeling here. At least for me.
Okay.
Beautiful area, though. How the tree limbs grow out over the stream here. You could have put a rope on here and used it as a swing. You can envision the deer coming down through the... You can see the trees that are here. There's lots of trees with lots of straight trunks on them that would have been good for building cabins and
And they
homes
did build cabins and
so forth here, but of course they're long gone.
people need.
Both. I want to go up over that other path the other way. And we need to get back to the car because we didn't lock it up.
I have that one. Look at that pretty butterfly. And it's walking around down by the river, or the creek. I thought that was a pretty butterfly. Oh, something's biting me on that. Oh, a bug. Lots of bugs here. How pretty that is. I keep moving because the mosquitoes are getting me. Must be time to go.
Here we are in
Yeah, okay, go ahead now.
Here we are in Far West, Missouri. This is the temple site of the Far West Temple where the saints were told
Commanded
to build a house unto the Lord that they could gather the membership together. And this is the actual temple site in Far West where that took place. We'll be parking here and going in. There's only so much of this. Here's a brief synopsis. My third great grandfather. And, so it makes it even more special.
Oh yeah, you're gonna enjoy that.
Here we are at the temple site, and close to here in Far West. And it shows here, these are the actual cornerstones, as you see them, where the temple was to have been built. But unfortunately, as we know, the saints were driven from this place. We'll walk around here and see what else is here. Early growth and one-time size in Far West. It has another plaque here. I'm not going to wait too long here, and if you want to read it. 4,000 saints with a greater concentration at Far West, which at this time had only 150 houses, 4 dry goods stores. Anyway, Brent will tell us a little bit more about that. And then here's another cornerstone, and it says this cornerstone was laid in representation of the lesser priesthood. Each of the cornerstones represents. As you can see, they have picnic tables here if you want to come and have a picnic. And then we've got the monument here. Far West, a consecrated and a holy land. The name of the church, from a revelation to Joseph Smith, the law of tithing, first great missionary call across the waters given to the members of the 12 apostles in this day, and that's when they were to go to England. And then over here is another cornerstone. This cornerstone was laid in representation of the first presidency. Prophecy fulfilled. On July 8th, 1838, a revelation was given to Joseph Smith concerning a future mission of the 12 apostles beyond the seas, and that, as we know, was to go to England. The date of their departure, April 26, 1839, was set, and they were to leave from this spot. This prophecy was fulfilled despite the efforts of the enemies of this church to prevent the meeting that was held on the site agreeable to the prophecy. We'll walk along here. This is just so neat to be here and know that they were to have built a temple here. It's a beautiful place. It's on top of a hill. You can see there's Brent coming in to the area. A short distance to the west of this site, Joseph F. Smith, the son of Hiram and Mary Smith, was born. On November 13th, 1838, he became the 6th president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And then over here we have the other cornerstone, and this one being dedicated in representation of the high priesthood. As you can see, there's a chapel across the road now. Far West congregation of the reorganized Latter-day Saints.
You might want to take a picture of that. This is an actual, I guess, rendering by somebody unknown of the Joseph Smith home in Far West Missouri.
Which we don't know if we'll find that site or not. But
Gail just told you from the stone there that they're somewhat uncertain as to where it was actually at, but scholars believe it was somewhere near the temple site here. However, he owned land northeast of the temple site, and his farm was approximately 5 miles southwest of the temple site.
why are you reading all that?
Just to make it interesting.
But we're not at there. We're at.
As you can tell, we're now on our way to Adam-on-Diamond, and this is supposedly the site that Adam called his last family together to give them a blessing.
Last.
Okay, closes at dusk. I said this was the site that Adam gathered his last family. Well, he gathered his family here to give them his last blessing before his death. And this supposedly is the site that that took place on. It was also a place where Joseph Smith and approximately 600 members of the church had gathered, and they had built homes here. And during the persecution from the Missourians here in Missouri, although they were threatened here in Adam-Diamond, none of them were ever attacked while living here before they were driven out. They were always under the threat of attack, but none of them were ever attacked here.
Do you want to say what's yet to happen here?
And supposedly this is the site that Father Adam will return to once again when he comes to the earth to claim his inheritance. This is the spot supposedly that he will return to, and we're driving up on the overlook to the valley of Adam-on-Diamond, and we'll tell you a little bit more hopefully after we get in here. On this picture here first so they have an idea.
Okay.
This is an aerial view of Adam-on-Diamond with the Grand River back here in the background, and this area being Adam-on-Diamond here.
No, because that's at the where it's calculated where the podium would be. So there's the.
Okay, we're here at Tower Hill, are we?
No.
Or we're not at either one.
It's just telling you out there where the different things are.
Okay, well, the Grand River.
Okay, I'm turning it off. Okay, now, so this is Spring Hill. I'm zooming in on over there, and next to it or behind it more is Tower Hill, which, do you see the significance of those two places in there in the book that you could talk about it?
Well, the marker tells us over here that Spring Hill,
Never mind.
or Tower Hill, is where the prophet Joseph Smith stood.
Okay, first we're doing what?
Well,
Tower Hill is the darker clump of trees behind the hill that's in the foreground,
which is Spring Hill,
where that kind of
white
home
white
is.
building is there. And Spring Hill is located north of the Grand River, northwest of Gallatin. Joseph Smith, accompanied by other church leaders, visited the right settlement at Spring Hill, where they laid out a city. The city was given the name Adam-on-Diamond, in keeping with Joseph Smith's statement that it was so named by the Lord. The name was used as early as 1835. William W. Phelps wrote a hymn entitled Adam-on-Diamond and published it in the Messenger and the Advocate of the Doctrine and Covenants. Spoke of establishing the foundations of Adam-on-Diamond.
And then Spring Hill.
George W. Robinson, clerk for the first presidency, described the visit on the 19th of May, 1938. In the after part of the day, President Smith and Sidney Rigdon and myself went to Wright's Ferry, about a half mile from this place up the river, for the purpose of selecting and laying claim to city plat near said ferry, which was called Spring Hill, a name appropriated by the brethren present, but afterwards named by the mouth of the Lord and called Adam-on-Diamond, because, said he, it is the place where Adam shall come to visit his people, or the Ancient of Days shall sit, as spoken of by Daniel the prophet. Okay? Did you want more?
Mm-mm.
Ready?
We're walking out to the overlook of the Tower Hill, overlooking the valley of Adam-on-Diamond, which Tower Hill is to have been the place where Joseph Smith gathered the saints together to lay out the plot of the land and how it was to be used in the valley. They say that, what did it say, that there's remains, or there once was remains of an old Nephite altar?
That's it.
Tower Hill.
No, that's
Oh.
at Spring Hill.
Okay.
And that through Revelation, Prophet Joseph Smith said that there was the remains of an old Nephite altar there, and that this was the spot that Adam was to come back to.
Look how pretty that looks down there.
Wildflowers growing. I wonder why they looped everything.
I don't know, but look how pretty that grove of trees looks there ahead of us. How pretty.
Mhm. I wonder if they planted these wildflowers here
I
at
don't
one time. Think so? Must have.
I don't think so.
Because you even got sprinklers here for them.
Maybe.
They must have. Here's the plaque.
Okay, that must be the stone which that guy was talking about. Where the podium, that's the word I was looking for. Where they think that the podium must have been, because if you think about it and you were a person wanting to talk to a lot of people, this would be a good spot. You'd have to have a good microphone though, huh?
People may have been gathered up here on the hill.
You think that he talked that way?
Yeah.
No.
This is where we're built down here in
Okay.
the valley.
Okay.
I doubt that they were down the hill.
Well, I would think it'd make it easier to be seen. I mean, it's not like he has a stand to stand on.
19th of May, 1838, a surveying party led by Joseph Smith, prophet and first president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, arrived here to found a new city. One follower of the prophet, Lyman White, had already acquired a home on the side of the hills southwest to the right of this point, overlooking the valley. A half-mile up the river, White operated a ferry, and inland from that location the prophet began laying out a city. He called it Adam-on-Diamond, in tribute to Adam, the patriarch of the human race. The Latter-day Saint settlement, established 2 years earlier at Far West, approximately 35 miles to the southwest, had already doubled in size from its original plat of 1 mile square. The prophet desired to found other settlements after this pattern. His party spent 10 days near Adam-on-Diamond and returned again later to stake out land on both sides of the river and eastward. In this vicinity, he said there were remains of an old Nephite altar or tower. See History of the Church, chapter 3, verse 35. Settlement here proceeded as Latter-day Saints immigrated from Ohio and other areas. Within weeks, many log cabins were under construction.
Glad I missed that.
Oh.
Entrance, Old Carthage Jail.
How do you get in there?
I don't know. There's people in there right now. Unless they close at 6 or something. Oh, it's open over here, Brad. Here, can you stop right?
Let me get around the corner, dear.
Right into the sun.